Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of The Red Room. I'm your host, Shay Samuels, and as always, I am happy that you met me here today. I always tell you to bring a friend, bring another friend, call a cousin, call a sister cousin. Today, just like any other episode, it is going to be on fire. And I hope you have your pen and pad with you because these notes you need to take and they will take you throughout the course of the year. I don't care what year it is. It's going to take you throughout the course of your year. We want to give a great big shout out to our sponsors. Thank you so much for your support. Everything that you do to make sure that the Red Room continues to roll. We love you and we appreciate you so much. So Shay, what is today's topic? Listen, we are going to talk about your amazingness. Yep, I think I just made up a word, but you are amazing. And we want you to understand that you're amazing. And we want to tell you, teach you, and walk you through all of your amazingness. So make sure you stay tuned because at the end, that's where your nuggets are going to be. No need to listen to this whole episode and then decide you want to turn the channel and you miss those nuggets. So make sure you stay to the end. So let's get into this topic. You are amazing. Can I get you to just say that to yourself? You say, I am amazing. If you're sitting with somebody today, I want you to turn to them and say, you are amazing. I want you to remind your children that they also are amazing. Why is that so important, Shay? Because listen, you asked me that and I'm going to tell you, it's important because we don't hear it enough. We don't see it enough. We don't read it enough, and we are just not told enough that we are amazing. How can such a simple title to a broadcast bring so much light? It also brings a lot of delight to know that you are amazing. Today, I'm going to share a couple of stories with you, and I want you to tap into your amazingness as you hear these stories, because each person had to do it. Who am I talking to today? I'm talking to the woman, regardless of what age you are. I'm talking to the woman today who has been told that you're nothing, that you are worthless. The ones that have been in the abusive relationships, the one that has had crappy friendships, the ones who can't even keep a job. I'm talking to the woman who might stay broke and then get money and then get broke again. I'm talking to the mother who feels like she just has no more to give. I'm talking to the wife who feels like the marriage is about to end. I'm talking to the husband who feels like the marriage is about to end. I feel like even for the men who go through what they go through in this world, you all are amazing. And because someone may not have told you that, I want to tell you that today, you're amazing. Listen, when I was growing up, there wasn't a lot of that in my family. And I have to be transparent with you because it's something that I think we kind of negate. If you had to ask yourself today, how many times, one, have I told myself that I was amazing, but how many times have I told my children that? How many times do I tell my husband that? How many times do I tell my wife that? How many times do I tell my coworkers or my employees? Do you see how this thing just keeps on growing? You are amazing. And how you begin to tap into your amazingness is what we're going to share. As I was growing up, again, there wasn't a lot of that around the household, but we knew that we were amazing by the way our parents showed us. So they may not have ever told us that we were amazing, but just some of the things that they had us into: baseball, basketball, cheerleading. We had people on the sidelines always rooting for our teams. That was them showing us that we were amazing. And because of that, we grew up knowing how amazing we are. But let me tell you that life can get the best of you. When you get old enough to start working and you get old enough to start having relationships and building friendships, those type of things can actually strip you from how amazing you are. Do you ever realize as an adult, all the things that you begin to encounter, it strips a piece of that amazingness off of you? You know, go back to when you were a child and when you were riding your scooters, your your bikes and you were outside playing ball and you were outside with your friends, maybe doing some double dutch. But then as you begin to get older, life started to take a toll on you. Remember your first job. Did your boss tell you how amazing you were? Or did they always tell you what you were doing wrong? Think about when you were in college. Did your professors tell you how amazing you were? Or did they always tell you what you weren't getting right? Think about when you decided to get into a relationship. Did that person tell you how amazing you were? If they had, you would walk always with your head up high. That's what knowing your amazingness, that's what it does. It causes you to have a bit of confidence no matter where you go. Listen, when my two daughters were younger, I used to have little chants for them that I thought would be amazing. Awesome. I would say, you are beautiful. I would have them look and I would say, you have to be kind. I would say these things. And when they got older, guess what? They forgot about them. They forgot about them. Why? Because life began to take its toll. The same thing for me. As I started to walk in this journey with myself and wanted to really focus on my purpose, when I started to identify with my purpose, at some point, I lost my amazingness. Listen, there's a song out there. It says, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine." Listen, I'm going to tell you, when I got older, I realized this. That light has to shine big. The little light is when I was a little child. But as I got older, listen, this big light, it had to shine. And no matter where I went, it had to shine. And my grandmother used to say, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. That is what your amazingness will do for you. Listen, today, I want you to count it all joy. I want you to count what you've been through. I want you to count it all joy. And what I mean by that is I want you to take note of it, but I want you to understand that that very thing can get you to tap into your amazingness. Listen, so what you have been through a hailstorm. Listen, find the pieces on the ground of all the debris that you can find and actually keep. Maybe there's some things you can replenish. Maybe there's some things that you had to throw away and you just weren't going to. But there's some things in the rubbish that you can grab a hold of and start anew. That is where your amazingness is. See how simple I made that? I said there's a hailstorm that you have been in. And once the hailstorm is over, there's debris and rubble that will fall to the ground. And when you begin to take inventory, that is your start over place. There is where you will find your amazingness. Listen, pick it up one by one. Don't pick up the things you no longer need. Pick up the things that you do need. Some things are going to be broken. Some things can be restored. Some things need to be thrown in the trash anyway. Some things may look the same, but you've outgrown them. There you will find your amazingness. Remember, I said in the beginning of the broadcast, I want you to look at yourself and say, I am amazing. Listen, as I talk, I want you to continue to say it because you'll find your amazingness even in that. If you're with someone, look at them and say, I am amazing. Let me tell you how amazing things can be for you. When you start having that mindset, when you start building on that, you're going to start finding that there are people who are like you that have and need exactly what you have. Your big light. Listen, no longer saying that song, "This Little Light of Mine," this big light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. I'm reminded by a show that I really loved growing up. I talk about it in one of my books, but I talk about this show. It's called The Care Bears. I'm sure that everyone knows about the Care Bears. If you don't, let me just give you a little bit of history on them. When I was writing my book, I found out that the Care Bears actually started as a card, like a greeting card. The person who created it, he created the Care Bears as a show after, it's like a prequel after the cards. And so he created this cartoon that most of us, and I might be aging myself when I say this, but most of us used to really love. The Care Bears, they would actually have these little things on their bellies, these emblems on their bellies. It would be like a shamrock, a rainbow, raindrops, whatever they were feeling, it would be on their bellies. But when they had times of trouble, let me tell you what these bears did. These bears came together and they let their light shine. Their light would illuminate and it would overcome the adversary. Listen, when I was younger, I'm going to tell you, it was just a Care Bear cartoon to me. It was a Care Bear show, and it was just fun for me to watch. And I wanted my mom to go get the bears. But listen, I'm going to tell you, once I got older, I started remembering that that big light and how it shined got me through. Listen, this is something that would really, really bless you. You don't know what you're watching that will come back from somewhere, someplace in your life. It's going to come back. And when it comes back, remember that thing, because that thing is where you will find your amazingness. As I was writing this book some years ago, that Care Bear emblem came right back to me. For me, it was the rainbow. And then I started thinking about the other ones. But what really got me was the light that kind of shone through them. Whenever the adversary would come after them, one could do it alone. But when they came together, they had the power, the light, they had the power, this amazingness, this awesomeness. They had the ability to overcome the adversary. That's my point too. When you come together with like-minded people in your amazingness, listen, you are going to be able to overcome those thoughts. You're going to be able to overcome what you've been speaking. You're going to be able to overcome those people who told you couldn't. You are amazing. It's important for me to get this across because so many people are told what they're not. But when you start, women, I got to ask you a question. Whenever someone compliments you, what's your first thought? Really? When someone tells you you're beautiful, the first thing you look around and you say, me? I'm beautiful? Why do you question that? Because you've been told that you're not. You've been told opposite of who you are. So when someone tells you that you are beautiful, when someone tells you that you're amazing, it's hard for you to receive. Again, today, I want you to point at yourself and say, I am amazing. If you're with someone else, I want you to look at them and tell them that they are amazing. You know why I keep asking you to do that? Because once you begin to repeat this over and over again, you will begin not only to remember that, but it will come out so fluently that you'll forget that you even were saying it. Have you ever heard a song while you were driving in the car, and then maybe hours later you started singing that song and you were thinking, why am I singing this song? Because you heard it previously. It's now in your subconscious, and guess what? It fluently came out without you even having to truly listen to it. That's how repeating how amazing you are for yourself and to others, that's how effective it's going to be. Listen, yep, I just said in this show all about your amazingness. I talked to you about how amazing you are. Now, here's the kicker. I had to remind myself of that every single day. If you have followed the show for as long as it's been running, I want to tell you, you should have heard most of our stories. You should have heard most of my story. You should have been able to connect with some of the things that have gone on in my life. And because I can sit before you as an overcomer and say, I am amazing. I am amazing. I'm amazing. I'm going to tell you that when you receive that for yourself, life is going to change. Your life is going to change. Now, I can't promise you anything. Why? Because you can say it and you can give up. Here's my third point before we close. This is just like a diet. When you diet, you are purposed to lose weight. You may go out and get all the food that you need to get for this diet. You may say to yourself, I'm going to eat healthily day in and day out. You may tell yourself, I'm going to lose these pounds whether I like it or not. You were prepared and everything you thought was going to go the right way. And then again, life happens. The rolling theme in this amazingness is that life will happen, but you still have to prove to yourself that you are amazing. When you start rolling on that diet, and then you might trip for one day. Oh, you're running late somewhere. And then all of a sudden you got to stop at a grocery store. You got to stop at a fast food restaurant and bam, your amazingness is gone. That diet no longer exists. Why? Because you've already broken the cycle. That is how quickly you can lose sight of your amazingness. It is just like a diet. You have to purpose yourself to say this every single day. My encouragement is that you take some note. Where are you mostly? Are you in the car? Have a sign there that says I'm amazing. Wear a shirt that says I'm amazing. Put it in your bathroom. Say I'm amazing. If you like to cook, put it in your kitchen. I'm amazing. If you go down in the cabinets and get pots and pans, put it there. I'm amazing. If you're in the living room watching TV, on the TV, put I'm amazing. You have to know that you are amazing yourself before anybody else sees it. It's imperative. It's imperative to your walk. It's imperative to your work. It's imperative to your friends. It's imperative to your family. Once you start identifying with how amazing you are, you will begin to see the light that shines just like the Care Bear coming out of you. And everybody else will as well. It's important for you to know this. I get tickled a little bit about it because it's so easy for us to focus on the bad. It's so easy for us to focus on what hasn't been good in our lives. I said for this episode, one thing, you're amazing. Now I have to ask you, do you believe that? Hopefully, but now that we're here at this part of the broadcast, that you know you are amazing. That you're not just saying it because I told you to say it. By the end of all of this, I want you to believe that you are. There's nothing more than knowing that I failed here. I didn't do this right. This part of my life wasn't right. I didn't get this right with my children. I didn't get this right on this marriage. I didn't get this right at this job. But if you start looking at where you are today and those trials and those tribulations, know that even in that, you still were amazing. Why? Because you came out. Can I tell you that? Because you came out. I said it before, it is the small victories that we no longer focus on that lead us to that amazingness, that leads us to that big light, that leads us to knowing that we are overcomers. Shout out to Coach David Benton, because I heard him talking to someone the other day, and he said, the person said, I'm a conqueror. And he said, brother, let me tell you something. He said, the Bible says that you're more than that. Listen, you are more than that. You are more than a conqueror. You are more than a conqueror. You are amazing. I want you guys to take note of how just one small reminder can change the impact of your whole life. It starts here. You'll hear me say that all the time because it's our minds that take us out. It's our thoughts that take us out. The people around us, what we hear, that takes us out. What goes in our ear gates becomes a part of our subconscious. So if you continue to say, I'm nothing, if you continue to say, I'm worthless, if you continue to say, I'm nothing but a mess up, if you continue to say, I can't make an impact, if you continue to say that I'm broken, you continue to say I'm broke, you continue to say anything outside of I'm amazing, you will become what you are. Have you heard that saying, you are what you eat? Feed yourself amazingness. Oh, that was good. Feed yourself amazingness. Feed it on purpose. Feed yourself amazingness. When you start your diet, make sure a bit of amazingness is in that. Make sure that whatever concoction you're putting together, that there's a bit of amazingness in it as well. I've heard people say, I put my foot in that thing. Can you put your amazingness in that thing? Can you put your amazingness in that homemade soup? Can you put your amazingness in that green shake? Put it in there. If you are what you eat, you will become amazing. You have to regurgitate that day in and day out. I want to share one more story before we go. I've had the honor of meeting so many people. Unfortunately, a lot of those people are walking in their brokenness every day. And every single time I see a person who's walking in their brokenness, I see beyond their brokenness. I don't know how I get a chance to see that. And sometimes it's a bit scary, but I see beyond their brokenness. And when I say those words to them, when I say, you're amazing, when I say, do you know how amazing you are? They question themselves because all they see is what they hadn't done. All they see is where they failed and where they went wrong. But in this story, I want to tell you that because God reminded me every single day when no one else did, how amazing I truly am. It gave me the honor of doing the same thing. So I want you, once you get it for yourself, to give it back. Once you start to get it for yourself, if you really wanted to know how you can impact the world, even just walking past someone, just say, you're amazing. You never know what that person needs. You never know how much that person needed to hear that. Come out of your unselfish ways for just a moment and tell someone else that they are amazing. Phone a friend randomly and just say, you're amazing. You're amazing. You have a hard time at work, tell your boss, you're amazing. If it's an employee, fight them back with, you're amazing. You're amazing. Some of y'all are like, I don't believe that. Listen, they are, because God is no respecter of person. So when you start sowing that seed into others, it will come back to you 100-fold. When I started sowing that seed into others, I became who I am today. I'm still growing no matter what, but I am knowing and showing that this thing is real. I'm going to leave you with this again. You're amazing. That is the Red Room. I'm Shay Samuels. And I'm going to tell you guys, this thing is real. It's real. We want to thank you for tuning in. One more episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and remembering that you are amazing. I'm your host, Shay Samuels. And again, thank you for tuning in. Until the next episode, we'll see you soon. Mwah!
He's no longer in the grave. He's moving in this hour, yeah. He's moving by His power. Moving by His power. He's healing the sick, and He's raising the dead. A multitudes of people. He's moving in this hour. In this hour, He's moving by His power. He's healing the sick and raising the dead. A multitude of people. He's moving in my hand, and He's moving in my feet, and He's moving in my spirit, and He's all over me. He's all over me, moving in my hand and moving in my feet now. All over me, He's all over me. I'm gonna lift my hands and bless the Lord. If I don't say a word, I'm gonna wave my hand. He's moving in my feet, yes He is. Every step I take and every move I make, He's moving in my spirit, y'all. I got the love of Jesus deep inside of me, yeah. Moving in my hand, moving in my feet, moving in my spirit, all over me. God is moving, yeah. He's moving from the jailhouse to the courthouse, yes He is. He's moving from the crack house to the White House, yes He is. God is moving in from my house to the church house, yeah. Move by Your spirit, yeah. We welcome You, move by Your spirit. Move by Your power. Do what You want to do, any way You want to move, yeah.
Sometimes I ask myself one question at a time, one person at a time, one heartbeat at a time. When I look in the mirror, what I say to myself is, it was all worth it in the end. Oh, life ain't always what it seems to be. Sometimes it will get rough. Hold your head up high, and know which way to go. You better keep that smile. Look to the stars and know, oh, that it will be alright. It will be alright. Oh, that it will be alright. It will be alright. Sometimes I ask myself one question at a time, one person